All right, let's get into it because trust me, if you told me this story was real, I'd say you've been watching too much late-night cable, but I lived every absurd minute of it. So, picture this. 3 years deep undercover for the FBI, I'm tracking a money laundering ring in suburbia, thinking my biggest problem is that my government-issued sedan's AC still smells like gym socks. But what actually blows my cover isn't some master criminal or dangerous cartel, it's a gas station diva who thinks no is just a suggestion for other people. I pull into this Chevron on Riverside Tuesday afternoon, sky's clear, whole place feels like it's taking a nap. I'm wearing my blend in uniform gray suit, neutral tie, nothing flashy, just boring enough to make you invisible, you know? I've a half a tank to fill, and my head's on the case until this bass-thumping blue BMW X7 skids in like it owns the parking lot. And out comes, well, let's just say, if entitlement had a mascot, she'd be it. She's got platinum hair, a pink mini that's basically a suggestion, shades that probably cost more than my rent, and the kind of attitude that says her daddy never made her wait in line. She's on her phone, barking into it about how the spa didn't recognize her like the universe personally let her down. I keep my eyes on the pump, praying she's just here for fuel and not looking to make someone's day harder, but you know how it goes, trouble has a way of finding me. Next thing I know, she's standing beside me, perfume cloud and all, clearing her throat like she's the queen and I'm supposed to bow. "Excuse me," she says, and I already know nothing good follows that tone. I look up, do my best polite nod. "Yeah." She points to her Beamer and goes, "You're going to fill in my car, too." Not a request in order. I have to stop myself from laughing, because honestly, this is a first. I say sorry, and she just doubles down. "You look like you have money. You're wearing a nice suit. I'm pretty. You should consider yourself lucky. So just do it." If there's a handbook for undercover agents, it doesn't cover what to do when the local rich girl tries to draft you into gas-pumping duty because she thinks it's your civic responsibility. I'm halfway between amused and floored, but I try to keep it cool. I tell her she's got the wrong idea. I'm just filling my own tank. She gives me this look like I've just explained gravity to her for the first time. "Look, I don't have time for games. You help me. Maybe I put in a good word for you. You don't. Maybe my mom makes a few calls." She flashes a last name I know from my Falesa name that pops up in all the wrong kinds of bank statements. So now, what started as an annoying errand is a lot more interesting. I push a little, ask what exactly happens if I say no. She just shrugs, says her mom knows important people, and I can either play along or learn what happens to folks who cross the Vandenberg family. She's name-dropping the sheriff. The police chief's got no idea who she's talking to, which is almost adorable, but mostly terrifying. The whole time, she's tossing around threats like it's her hobby, implying she could take my credit card if she wanted, that I should be grateful she's talking to me. Yeah, that happened. Then, as if the universe wanted to up the ante, a silver Mercedes pulls in. Out steps her mother, Victoria Vandenberg. This woman radiates power, the kind that buys judges lunches and gets traffic tickets misplaced. She walks over, oozing frost, asks her daughter what the holdup is, and Chloe, yeah, her name's Chloe, immediately throws me under the bus. "You want help?" she whines. Victoria turns those ice-cold eyes on me. "Is that so?" I introduce myself, keep it calm, but she's not here to make friends. She starts laying out the county social food chain like she's teaching a class on feudalist people like them give orders, people like me obey. If I don't, well, suddenly I could find myself facing police harassment, audits, maybe even a little evidence discovered in my car. She doesn't even try to hide. It's basically narrating her own indictment for conspiracy and corruption. I let her talk, let her paint herself into the corner. "Your place is to show proper respect to your betters and help when asked," she tells me. I push her, ask what happens if I refuse. She pulls out her phone, does her best villain impression one call, and Sheriff Morrison is on his way, and suddenly my life is about to get real complicated. She goes so far as to hint that maybe I'm an immigrant with complicated documentation, all but saying the quiet part out loud. By now, we've got an audience, the clerk inside, a couple bystanders pretending to browse snacks. Victoria's voice is rising, and Chloe's chiming in, both of them laying out exactly how they use their network to control the county. It's an entire masterclass in small-town corruption. And I'm just standing there thinking, you know what? Sometimes the bad guys really do make it easy. So I reach into my jacket, pull out my wallet, flip it open, Mrs. Vandenberg. Maybe I should introduce myself properly. I show my FBI badge. I wish you could have seen their faces. Chloe goes pale. Victoria freezes, eyes flickering between panic and calculation. I've been investigating financial crimes in this county, I say. Money laundering, conspiracy, corruption. And you just confessed to half of it. On tape, I bluff the recording. They buy it. Victoria sputters. Chloe tears up. I remind them it's a one-party consent state. Suddenly, their tune changes. What was just the way things work is now a big misunderstanding. Backup arrives, 2 black SUVs, agents in dark suits fanning out, securing the scene. Agent Shun, my partner, slides up with her notepad. Victoria tries to talk her way out, but the more she explains, the worse it gets, dropping names, describing business arrangements that sound a lot like bribery, and pretty soon, she's asking for a lawyer. I tell her straight, cooperate, and maybe we can talk about immunity for Chloe. Play games, and she's facing the full weight of federal charges. What follows is a blur. Hours of interviews. Victoria trying to shift blame, Chloe realizing for the first time in her life that there are consequences that money can't always buy silence. The investigation explodes. Suddenly we're talking search warrants, shell companies, campaign donations, city officials on the take. By the time Victoria's finished singing, we've got enough to take down half the county's political machine. 6 months later, I'm in court, watching Victoria take a plea deal, 3 years, reduced for cooperation. Chloe's off the hook, working at a nonprofit, maybe for the first time understanding what it means to earn her place. Sheriff Morrison and Deputy Chief Williams go down. Hard-earns out. A lot of folks have been waiting years for someone to pull back the curtain. Operation Gas Station. The news called it funny how the biggest cases start with the smallest moments. And me? Got a commendation, a promotion, and a reminder of why I got into this work. Because sometimes justice doesn't look like a dramatic raid or a perfectly planned sting. Sometimes it's just a guy at a gas station saying no when he's supposed to bow and reminding the powerful that nobody's untouchable. So here's my question for you. What would you have done? Do you think justice was served, or did the punishment not fit the crime? Drop your thoughts below, because this is the kind of story that ought to get folks talking about what's right, what's wrong, and whether community really means anything if it's only for a chosen few.